Welcome, episode 19 of Smashcenter is finally here. Blessed be, blessed be. My name is Suar from PG Stats and Panda Global. Happy to bring you this 19th rendition of our weekly series of tournament recaps, controversies, and more, featuring the hottest Smash Ultimate that we can possibly bring you in our weekly reports, which are brought to you by Tweek, by the way. If you haven't followed him, make sure you do at Tweek Smash on Twitter. He's an incredible content piece writer and he works for Panda Global. Really great time with him and he provides a lot of things to say during these episodes. So without getting into it too much, we had a jam-packed weekend with events happening both on the East Coast and in the Midwest. We're going to dive into those in a moment, but first, hearty welcome if this is your first time watching us on Twitch. Welcome. This is it. This is the show. This is the thing we do. Coney's out in the back, gonna wrangle him in once we're ready. And then if you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Like button, subscribe button, stay up to date on the latest stuff we do. That's what you want to do, that's what you want to check. Make sure you do that, don't get left behind. But let's just get right into the first actual tournament that we're gonna cover, and that's gonna be Combobreaker 2019. So, a lot of talent in the Midwest. This is a actually FGC X Smash event. Some people, again, FGC Smash, what's the difference? But in this case, Combobreaker is a hugely star-studded event that features the best for all the NRS games like Injustice, Mortal Kombat, this time featuring Mortal Kombat 11, Street Fighter, all the anime fighters, and more. So Combobreaker, similar to CEO FGC event, but it featured some really fierce Smash competition. So what do we have going on? We had a couple things going on. So first of all, 433 entrants. That puts the event at a B tier on the PGR scale this season. Smash is on Combobreaker's renowned main stage for the first time ever, which is a big transition from years prior. And because of this and time constraints, the tournament format wasn't best of 5, which is something to note, considering most nationals by top 32 and on usually have it as a best of 5, if not top 16. And they didn't have best of 5 until top 3 this time. So that's going to be losers finals, winners finals, and grand finals, which is a little bit of the Xanadu way if you ask me. And that didn't sit well with some players while many others enjoyed it. So again, if you have those upsets happening early, that's what you were facing. Mexico's Meister, signed by SV and KJS, takes the tournament over Yeti 3-1 after resetting the bracket from loser side. Notably, Meisters is last year's Combobreaker winner, and he won over MVD and ESAM, which at this point, name a more unlikely duo. He loves the tournament, any opportunities to compete in the US. Meister, with that sick game in Washington, Mexico, made his name yet again heard. Yeti continues to perform incredibly well with Mega Man, mixed with Snake. He's actually the one who initially sent Meister to losers, yet he also snatched some impressive wins over Anti and Zenodo. This is something that many people are excited to see, considering Anti hasn't been exactly in the front of the pack, the top of the cut. But here at Combobreaker, we saw him place top 8, so that's a great win for Yeti and also a great placement for Anti. Zenodo's been a little MIA from a lack of traveling outside of region. He steps it up and places 3rd, beating the number 1 seed, MVD. Again, accomplishment for sure. MVD places 4th, close games, and it seems like the tournament format particularly bothered him, according to reports online, which, again, I wouldn't necessarily peg against him, considering many competitors now have an expectation of top 8 and beyond being pretty much best out of 5, especially top 16, some tournaments top 32, and the most daring of them all, top 64. ESAM and Tyroid tie for 5th place, all game 3s that came down to the wire, and Anti and Dill tie for 7th. So that's going to be what we got for Combobreaker. Combobreaker, again, if you haven't had the chance, check it out in the Midwest. It's an incredible series run by the Hado. He's an incredible TO that makes sure that everybody from the casters down to the volunteers are well taken care of, and especially the players. Everybody, it's a work of love, and he puts on a show. So congrats to him, congrats to everybody involved in Combobreaker, and now we're going to move on to Momocon. Momocon 2019 happening in Atlanta, Georgia, and boasting itself as an S tier last minute due to registrants that pretty much showed up on site and made that tournament jump that S tier hump. Had 1,250 entrants. Okay, there were some reports of some DQs, a couple hundred DQs in the mix, but again, that's what the tournament clocked in at, and we honored that with the S tier rating. Echo Fox's MVG Mkleo takes the tournament over last week's Gommel champion, Tweek. And these two players in particular, Tweek and Leo, Tweek being from TSM, have been fighting for that number 1 title, and it seems like right now Mkeleo's pulled ahead pretty markedly. So the first PGR coming out in later this summer at the ends of July now has Mkleo pretty much in the lead, and Tweek coming in at a close second unless he has a retort this weekend at Smash and Splash. Mkleo notably used mostly solo Joker during this entire tournament, which is a huge deal considering that Joker hasn't really been solo mained by anybody up to this point, and achieved the results that they did, which is a S tier win at an event like Momocon, which Mkleo just did. He used mostly Joker, the best performance we've seen so far from the DLC fighter. And some say it actually prompted this weekend's emergency 3.1 patch that we're going to get. But of course, jokes aside, we're going to be previewing that patch later on this show. Mars, one of the game's most potent players currently, signed by Panda Global, finished third, losing to his doubles partner and good friend Tweek. Samsora, E United, and CLG Void, 4th and 5th place respectively. They found their footing in top 8 once again after a few rough tournaments, so not too many surprises there. Starting at Genesis in top 8, ending in Momocon at top 8. I mean, right now the season's still got a month and a half left, so I wouldn't really be worrying if I were Void or Samsora. But continuing on, Nairo got 5th place, Energy's own. He honestly could have gotten 3rd or 4th, some experts say. His losses to Void and winners and Mars and losers were very close Game 5 situations, so it could have gone either way. Where the wind blows in that case, I mean, it didn't blow for Nairo. So unfortunate for him. Salem, on the other hand, makes some miracles happen, squeezes his way into top 8 at 7th. And he beat DeBuzz and Light, both players signed by Liquid and Rogue respectively. These are incredible wins, and they were also Game 5 sets to note. Salem reversed 3-0 DeBuzz with Shulk, an unlikely character, it's given that not many people have seen him in the meta, despite claims that he's very amazing now. The changes to his mechanics, the changes to the engine seem to greatly benefit him, and it seems like Salem showed us a little bit about that. And that was pretty much the talk of the tournament because, one, like I said, Shulk hasn't seen too many results at the highest level. DeBuzz has beaten the perceived best Shulk in North America, which is Nico from SoCal, earlier that day. And also, Salem has proved to be proficient with so many characters this season. At this point, it's hard to say whether or not it's a character or Salem. My guess is going to be like Salem. But for any case, congratulations to Salem. Lastly, Sinji from Deadly Alliance up in Tri-State, and Pac-Man made top 8. Another Pac-Man now, pretty much dancing in and around the PGR, if I'm being honest. He secured the last spot in top 8 with 7. He tied with Salem, and going into this stack tournament, many people didn't foresee Sinji actually making his way up towards the top. Many people kind of discount Pac-Man, even though he's ridiculous now. Sinji kind of made anybody think that, regret that, given that he got top 8. And it just seems like still nobody can tell how potent Pac-Man is in this current meta. And so right there you have it, the results from Momocon. That top 8 was something fierce, and it's something that we definitely kept tabs on since it's one of the S tiers of this entire season. This is just something you can't even really talk about now when you're talking about this current PGR without mentioning Momocon. So we'll see how the impact on the rankings unfold as we have that reveal coming later this summer. But lastly, we wanted to give you one last taste of something that's happening this weekend, actually something that Coney is going to be at, and that's Smash and Splash 5. The annual water park meets tournament up in the Midwest. You have the likes of Melee and Ultimate all showing up, and many of the players in those top ranking positions as well. I think the Melee side had confirmed pretty much everybody that's relevant right now, and even the up-and-comers, a lot of people who are headed to Summit. And then Ultimate as well has many people headed over there. Last year, Void won the event. I believe that's when Coney and Zero commentated that top 8. I'm sure he'll remind us in a second. But yeah, Smash and Splash is not an event you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss it at all. And it's also an event you want to keep an eye on because it's also an S tier, which we have a little bit of that 2GGC back-to-back, S tier to S tier. I'm sure all of you remember that from the Smash 4 days. But right now we have this S tier coming up this weekend, ending our month of May and starting our June, after we just had Momocon, which was an S tier right there on the East Coast in Atlanta. So there you have it. Any questions you have, you can always forward to me on the PG Stats Twitter. You can DM us at the PG Stats or at myself at suar at PG_suar. For now, that'll be it though. We're gonna go ahead and bring in our other co-hosts. We've had just so much to talk about and so much to kind of like go over since he's been gone. was able to do an interview with D1 in the meantime, and even did a solo show. So go ahead, you try something new. But Coney, how's everything been? You're live now. You're on the camera. You're back, right? How's it going?
Hi everybody. First off, can I just give a quick shout out to Black Forest Gummies, the best gummies in the game.
The show right now.
You guys know these are delicious.
You're really like on a random tweet got a box of gummies?
5 years ago, they hit me up in a Twitter DM like a couple weeks ago, and they're like, "Hey, do you remember making this tweet?" I was like, "No," and they're like, "Well, we want to highlight it on our Instagram, and we're gonna throw you some stuff." I was like, "Hey, yeah, please." So wow. I've got a box full of gummies. And if you guys need gummies at Smash and Splash, hit me up. Anyway, thank you for having me back. Sorry I was gone for a little while. Had some extenuating circumstances with life. Had some bad stuff in the family, but also got to finally tell everybody Mallory is pregnant, and we are due in December. So very excited.
That's a lot, actually.
I know.
That's a new doubles partner that we weren't expecting.
I'm not teaching them anything about video games, dude. A lot of people are like,
really? You're not even gonna show them the way? Like, you're not gonna beat them into the ground or anything?
If they're interested in it, sure. But I played a lot of sports as a kid. I was very athletic, and then I sort of got into video games, and I was like really into it anyway, but like I pushed more into that. I'm having my kid enrolled in every single sport, playing soccer, baseball, lacrosse, football, anything they want. And then, if they want to do the video game stuff and be a dork, that's fine. There's whatever. That's their choice to make.
I like it. On the other hand, my friend who's a dad of now a 2-year-old is looking forward to like teaching games, but he's very much under the I'll teach, and if you want, I'll keep going, versus like, you're going to be the next Mango.
Yeah, I'm not going to... I'm not one of those dads who like... I would never want to teach my kid an interest. You know what I mean? You find out what they like, and you kind of roll off with that. That's how I feel anyway. But
yeah, give us
with any luck, I'll have a little girl, so I'll have no idea what they care about.
They can also care about games and sports.
Oh, that's true.
We're in 2019, bud. Soon to be
that's
2020
true.
With your kid.
That's true, actually. That's a good point.
Man. Well, congrats on the fatherhood announcement. That should be a really great stream. You can't stream it. Like, you can't stream that stuff either. You can't.
Well, I'm not streaming. I was gonna say I'm not streaming the action, not the event. No. But I do plan on streaming with the baby on my chest with a papoose. The grind never sleeps.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Well, yeah, we're back. It's been a pretty not quiet because Gommel happened, but a pretty good 2 weeks. We had a lot happen. But today on the show, we have a couple of things prepared for you. Some stuff that have piqued our interest, and also we got some Q&A for you at the end. So in the chat, make sure you hit me up since it's on my channel today. PG is hosting Keys to PG. It's the return of the series where you play Wi-Fi against another guy and get a ticket to a major. Cosmos being the most, he's the record holder for most PG keys declined. Since he used to live with his parents and could not travel. Now he does not live with his parents and he can travel. So they're streaming that. We're streaming this. But yeah, we have our first topic, which we're going to get into in a moment. But just to confirm, Coney, you did commentate when Void won Smash and Splash last year.
Yes.
Zero, right?
Yep.
Any words you want to give about Smash and Splash before we cut?
It's one of my favorite tournaments of the year. I would call it my favorite, but I hesitate to say that because there's so many good tournaments. But
oh boy,
Smash and Splash is by and large one of my favorite events to go to every single year, just because I don't know, it really pushes that like this isn't just a tournament thing to the extreme. When it first started out, it was sort of in like a kiddie water park kind of deal, almost like a Chuck E. Cheese kind of thing. It was fine, but it felt very juvenile. Now that they've expanded, it gets bigger and bigger year after year. Now we're in a huge resort. There's tons of stuff to do. It's in the middle of absolutely everything in Wisconsin. Like, it's incredible. So
in the middle of everything.
In the middle of it really is. It's insane. I love it at Smash and Splash. The only issue is that it's not anywhere near any airport, which is, I think, like, for all the people that they get, I can't believe they do it without being near a major airport. That's kind of a big deal. But, well, I mean, the main one that a lot of people fly into is Chicago. Chicago is 3 hours away from Smash and Splash.
Bruh.
There's one in Madison, which is about 45 minutes away, but one, it's still 45 minutes away, so that's not like an Uber. And two, it's way more expensive flying into that.
So I think correct me if I'm wrong. I've seen Josh. I know that Smash is also run by the trio of Joshes. There's Josh,
Yes.
Josh, and then Jash, our Jash,
Yep.
the three A's. Tio from the Midwest. I'm pretty sure they've gotten guides though for like how to get there and stuff, right? I mean, because I
Yeah, they
can't
try to make it.
imagine, huh?
Yeah, they try to make it as easy as possible,
Do
but
they have
even
shuttles or
still,
anything, or
no, nothing like that. It's just, I don't know. One year I rented a car. I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna drive all the way out there.
that's the move
Yeah.
though. That's the move.
I mean, it was less expensive than anything else I did. We just had 6 people fly into Chicago, rent a car for like $200. You know, it sounds like a lot, but 6 people at 200, that's a little bit more than
So you
30
got your Uber for
a
the
person.
weekend.
Yeah, exactly. You have an Uber for the whole weekend, so it was fine.
Damn. I gotta roll up next year. I'm in the midst of
It's so good.
School
It's so
closing.
good, man. I get that like hotel pools are one thing, and that's where everybody goes to chill out. There's nothing like going to a water park in between your pools matches, and
Do
like
people actually though? Is that a thing?
not as much as you would hope. Like a lot of people do just do the Smasher thing, and they just kind of no life it in the main room. But I look forward to hang out with people in hot tubs. This is where me and honestly, this is where me and a lot of my PM guys get together because I don't play PM anymore. So it's like it's almost like an old high school alumni trip. It's like you remember Junebug? Like I'll just hang out with Junebug and Rez lived for hours in a hot tub. So it's gonna be a good trip. I'm excited.
Damn, you guys are gross.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. That'll be fun. I know that Void winning last year was a huge boon. But also the event. looks
Also,
good.
I don't know if I could talk about it yet, but I'm doing. Never mind. I can't talk about it.
Really?
We haven't announced it. We haven't announced it.
Oh my god.
I'm
You're doing top 8 again. I'm so surprised.
probably, but wait till you see who it's with. I'll just say that. I shouldn't say anything.
wouldn't even be
I've already
surprised
said
at this
too much.
point. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was like Trihex or some random plan. Unless you got
Imagine.
Etika, that'd be some stuff, but I doubt that. Well, Smash and Splash. Keep an eye out this weekend. It is an S tier, of course. But in terms of this programming today, we have a couple things prepared for you. The first one we wanted to talk about started off, like most things do, from a tweet. And it actually involves content, which Coney is a special agent in, since he makes content. He's a content creator. But the topic is to remix or be remixed. Talking on the topic of people taking content, right? Things that you make, either as an org, as a streamer, as even someone filming someone getting hit by a car, who then a news station takes your reel and puts on live TV. Where does it stop and where does it end? And what's socially acceptable and what isn't? Recently, I don't know if a lot of you have seen, GR Smash, of course, has a lot of this on deck. He is the melee forefront of content remixing, but also content creator in general. He's someone who's poured hours upon thousands of hours. I've seen him get interviewed by I don't remember who interviewed him last, but someone did. But they were talking about just like the massive amounts of stuff he's done. But basically, like he's made that content grind on YouTube pretty worthwhile with all the sorts of melee highlights he's done. He's brought in people that haven't played melee back into tournaments, seeing all these overlays and stuff. Well, basically, Coney, like, what do you think as a starting point when it comes to like where that sort of content gets remixed and pushed out to the greater public? I mean, there was also talks of Toasty, which we'll talk about in a second. He's more like the ultimate counterpart. But like, where do you stand on that? Something like GR Trash or GR Smash, rather. GR Trash is the Smash 4/Ultimate spawn. But taking a tournament, taking a reel, taking the best parts of it, and then putting it in a best of all time. I mean, I think there's levels to it, right?
Yeah. I think there's just like anything else, there are shades of gray. I actually have a kind of a different perspective on it too, because when Cuphead first came out, right?
Whoa.
I was huge into it. I loved Cuphead. I was playing it every day. I think I might have been the first person to S every stage. Like I played it the first 48 hours it was out. I played, I think, 38 or 39 hours. Like I played so much.
Got it.
Which meant that when everybody's making their highlight rage reels or whatever, and you know, like, oh, these guys can't beat this level, I got on a couple of them, including one huge YouTuber, and like some people just randomly find it and they're like, hey, this is your clip, blah blah blah. And it's really weird because like yeah, that's like a 5-second clip from my stream, but like even if he credited me, nobody's gonna care. Be like, oh, who is that generic yelling at video games guy at 3 seconds in? I should credit him. Like nobody's gonna care. It's not about that. So that's on the one hand.
Huh.
On the other, you have people who their entire lives, I've seen this a lot with like channels like Darkside Phil and Low Tier God, their entire channel is making highlights of other channels and other personalities, which is parasitic to say the least.
Low Tier God, like actually LTG?
Yes. Oh yeah. So people make like cringe highlights of Low Tier God streams, and like he'll stream and then they'll cut it up and they'll put together a 10-minute compilation of like him raging. You know what I mean?
I understood that was a channel that is a highlighter. So you're saying they're the highlighted typically.
Yes. Got it. LTG is not a highlighter. He's a character.
Okay, so Dr. Disrespect, LTG, all these like big trying to like usually any 5 seconds are gold highlighted people. Go on.
Right. Yeah. That's a different level because you really are just taking the entirety of what that person's doing and throwing it up. Now, it's one thing if it's something that they can like reach out to you and like be like, hey, let's, make highlights for me, I'll pay you, whatever. But it's another to just take it and post it as your own. And we've seen a little bit of I don't want to say animosity, but a little bit of strife on Twitter from people saying this kind of stuff. Like Rogers Base came out and he was like kind of coming at Toasty, and then he said, "Oh, I'm not flaming Toasty. He's doing what works." But it's like you,
but also
kind
Toasty.
of were, yeah. Like you know what you're doing. So it was like this weird thing. I don't know. I am of the opinion, and I acknowledge that this opinion is pretty much my own and I don't expect anybody else to have it. But I get really annoyed when content Twitters become people Twitters.
Yeah, we saw that happen with Melee Hell.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a lot, but like it's one thing to have your whole Twitter be like content of players and stuff, but it's another thing when you insert yourself into that, because then it's not about the content anymore. I see it with everything. I see it with Looney Tunes out of context, with Scooby-Doo out of context, all those dumb out of context accounts. They'll go on for like a week, and then after 3 weeks, they'll be like, I'm sorry for this awful thing that I said. I couldn't believe I said it. And the thing wasn't anything. It's just you're posting dumb clips. So anyway, I think there are, it's a very roundabout way of saying, I think there are definitely ways and means to do it. You have to think about the appeal of the wider audience while at the same time trying to remain, at least you're culpable for the stuff that you put up, and you want to be accountable, and you want to be crediting the people who are actually making the stuff. That's important.
Yeah, I mean, that is what it comes down to. It's like, what are you using the platform for?
Right.
Ultimately. With GR Trash, though, sorry, GR Smash, I hate that. With GR Smash, you look at his channel, dude's got like a hefty amount. I mean, he's got 250,000 subscribers, which in Smash numbers is big. And YouTube numbers is small. So in terms of like getting that bread, I mean, listen, like it's helping, but it's not the be all end all. His videos get viewed pretty widely. I mean, they're all in the hundreds of thousands, if not tens of thousands. And in his about, it just says I make Smash Bros video. I don't see his Twitter plugged. I don't see like, here's my LinkedIn, here's my lemonade stand. Actually, this is purely a mirror, if anything. This is something that I at least admire from GR Smash. Like, he's just playing to the community like its own stuff, and it's featuring people who like been on it. But I make Smash Bros video is his only thing. Joined March 2010. Everything else is just remixed and cut content. And what's nice about it is that they're themed. So top 10 back-to-back KOs, top 10 cheesiest kills, top 10 Falcon punches, number 4. What I think hurts, and I've seen Gimmer talk about it a lot, and it makes sense, is you put on this great event, you put on, let's say, Gommel. You do the whole thing, cool. You're there breaking down equipment, streaming, all this stuff. There's a fire, whatever. And then you get home and you see some dude just cut your top 8 as a highlight reel, which is like, that can't be your highlight reel because that is the top 8, right?
Right, yeah.
And we've seen the launch of VGBC highlights, and I think that's kind of like a a response to that sort of culture. But like, I think for Toasty's sake, and other maybe I don't even know what the role is because he's not. He is a content creator, but he mixes live, which GR Smash does not, and neither does
Yeah.
GR Trash. Toasty is interesting because he makes content on top of an event that's going on, and with the intent of humor slash viralness. A lot of his stuff really is just the event being played in a comical way over some sort of like, I don't know, filter, or sometimes like a cut to like something funny, usually related to Nintendo. So on that, I think it's safe, honestly.
Yeah.
Every time he's posted, it's pretty much tagging the people in it. So people that see it, right? They know what's going on. And then it usually links the actual event. And I've seen him promote events. I don't know if he's hired by them. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But I've seen him promote events as well. And I think that increases visibility. And when people get in comments, like, or comment fights with Gimmer about like, well, highlights just help the channel in the end. It's like they don't understand like YouTube and like views being taken away. But I think adding on Twitter, like I think Toasty found his niche, honestly.
Sure.
Wouldn't be able to do this on YouTube. And I know that he has a YouTube, and I don't think it particularly pops off because I don't really hear much about it.
I haven't heard anything. I think most creators have one thing that they kind of that's their weapon of choice, you know, and they kind of may put stuff on YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or whatever,
Yeah,
but everybody's got their one
a
thing.
year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that going forward, though, the thing that makes it so, what's the word? That kind of makes it so like easy to do is the fact that like now we live in a world with like you can video screenshot stuff on your phone. So you can like take a stream and like take a clip from it. You can Twitch clip, you can do all this stuff. So if you're putting stuff out there and it's going right to your Twitter audience, to a YouTube audience, to even a Twitch audience sometimes, like anyone can do it. So anything can be clipped and remixed at any time.
Yeah.
But it's what you're doing it for and for who that I think determines whether or not people are going to be cool with it. Because I know right now there's like a couple of YouTubers that people are really not cool with. I don't personally know their names, but people that do that stuff, like they're vultures, and it's even worse in FGC.
Oh God, yeah.
They have less. They have. I don't know. Thing about Smash and FGC is that FGC is a lot more lax on the interwebs. They like don't congregate as hard as Smashers do, and they definitely don't quote unquote waste their time as much. Like they just like rather be offline.
Right. Yeah.
From what I've seen, but yeah, I mean that kind of sums it up for to be remixed or to remix. Any final thoughts you want to add to that?
No, not really. I think it's a weird space to be in. It's a weird conversation to have because it just there's so many different variables to it. But just try to be mindful, do your best about what you're doing. Try to be honest all the time, and I think.
Yeah, it's simple as that, honestly. A lot of the situations that people find themselves in the community, especially like the meme accounts, comes from someone taking what they just built, honestly, and like pretty authentically, and then kind of like bastardizing it with like this new message or this new thing that people didn't kind of sign up for. Like imagine going to like a Subway, and then while you're there, the sign outside changes to like a spa. And then you're inside and you're just like, I didn't come here for a pedicure. I'd like it, but I also don't. Or it changes into something worse, like a Harley Davidson dealership. Like you would just be not down with that. You'd be like, what? This is not $5 foot long. This is a Hemi. Like, so that sort of stuff. Like I've seen it with Melee Hell. Toasty, I think, has done it before too. Speaking frankly. Getting passionate about something, and then also you have a couple tens of thousand Twitter follower account. Anything you say is under scrutiny, and that falls into an earlier show about what you say, what you're responsible for, yada yada yada. So
yeah,
a lot to consider, a lot to think about. But now, second topic we got going, we got patch predictions. Last time we recorded, a couple episodes ago, the next day Joker was released. I don't think tomorrow anybody will be released. But Coney, what do you think?
I am personally a huge fan of how Nintendo has sort of done these the last patch notes. Hope we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I think, or not tomorrow, whenever it goes out. I think that it was confirmed that it's a balance patch, so there's going to be no characters, nothing crazy, probably not even like a stage builder or anything like that, just pure balance. Last time they took a very light hand in terms of what they wanted to change. Like they slightly nerfed Wolf's down smash like 3% or something. Changed projectiles across the board, blah blah blah. I think you guys, if you're watching this, you probably know what they did. They were very light about it, and I actually really like that because there are different design philosophies in terms of like how you interpret games or metas or what you think should happen. Some people think that it should sort of be like a revolving door of things that are in meta, so like League or even like Overwatch, where it's like, okay, well, Olimar is strong this season, but next season Olimar is going to be weaker, but Duck Hunt's going to be that character, and then after Duck Hunt, maybe Mega Man has a time. After Mega Man, it's Villager. Like, sort of the archetypes are defined more so than the characters themselves. Like, if you are the best at X, then you are that character. That's one philosophy. I think the other philosophy is that the game as it ships day one, December 7th or whatever it is by and large the game we will continue to play. Like you can make these very surgical incremental adjustments, but Wolf is always going to be Wolf. Pichu will always be Pichu. These characters will always be strong, and you're not going to have a situation like Smash 4 where, okay, Mewtwo is now real. Luigi is now insane. Like, we just gave them something. We gave Donkey Kong kill confirm off a grab.
Oh, God.
Just, now he's a real character. I would rather not see that. I would rather the meta stay sort of consistent. Like I said, maybe very surgical, tiny changes. But I think, by and large, I think the game should remain as it is. I'm hoping that they go in that direction, but I know a lot of people disagree with me, and they say that they wish that other things got patched out. They say the game is too defensive, say the game is frustrating to play, and I totally get that. It's just my opinion that I like the game as it stands right now. But that's just me. I could see why others might not.
Well, I think it's agreeable. I mean, I don't find any abhorrent offenses, you know, like I think with Smash being such a delicate system of interactions with one thing changing, like for example Sheik, if you buff damage, right, it's like, okay,
yes,
fair does no damage, now let's add 3%. Well, if you get faired 4 times, that's a 12 additional percent minus scaling,
that's nuts, that
you have to consider, you know, on top of the forward tilts, the up tilts, the drag down up air, the down tilt, and another fair. It's weird. And then when you have knockback angles and knockback decay and growth all being messed with, I mean, you get ding dong, you get hoo ha, you get the whole like blank blank. So I like last patch. I think that we were used to before to these like sweeping. I remember checking the Smash boards back when those were active.
Oh yeah.
Checking Twitter usually, but that's just toxic because a lot of it is very placebo. Which, by the way, if you're new to Smash Ultimate, be very prepared to cross-reference all your sources for anything that you see on Twitter regarding any patch change. If someone's like, Diddy has 2 bananas now, it's like, guys, come on. Like, that's the oldest trick in the book. There's just a lot of stuff that you're going to see, and it's like, this feels different. Palutena's Nair feels lighter. Like, all that stuff. Like, wait for the data miners, honestly. That's that's my go-to, and any other testing. But yeah, Coney, like it's tough for me to really want it to go either way, because to have it go to Smash 4 standards of like kind of wicked under the table sort of movements with patches where like something got changed but we wouldn't know until later. Versus now where it's more subtle, it's more of a little tweak, a little bit of like a spot clean. I appreciate that more. I'm wondering,
it's transparent too. Like they're putting everything out there and they're saying this happened, and that makes it a lot easier for us to figure out, as opposed to like just dropping a patch in our lap and we have to sort of figure it out on our own.
That was actually, for anyone also watching and didn't know, we did not get patch notes. We did not even get, I mean, these are hardly patch notes because there's no values. It's a start. I mean, it'll say that blank changed, right? But if you're in a room with a bunch of toys on the ground and someone told you they picked up some but not the others, you would never know which toys got picked up and which ones didn't. And that's exactly what Smash balancing was. It was like, you leave the room, you're back, what changed? Well, figure it out. We get patch notes now. We actually get characters and item lines that say what happened. So that's great. But I also wonder, because last time projectiles were the big thing, and it didn't seem to have that big an impact. I haven't seen tournaments been decided by that. If anything, it kept projectiles a little bit more in line and making them suck a little bit more against shields, which they hadn't been because parrying wasn't doing its job. But I wonder if we'll get a shield stun level of patch. If you remember the first one, what that was.
I could see them making. I would rather they make sort of, rather than changing characters, I would much rather they change sort of functions in the game. So like the shield, that shield stun thing. I would rather they make sort of a change to the game over. So like the buffer system, maybe that's what everybody wants to talk about. Maybe do something about staling. I don't know, something like that, rather than make it just one character specific. I do want to point out Scruffle had a good point. He says that apparently DBFZ, they had a Season 2 patch which gave characters new options, more combos, but it was only a year or so after the game came out. I think that's a really cool idea, that we have sort of this meta for 1 year, and then after the second year, maybe they add more changes or they switch stuff up. The only caveat I would say is that maybe I'm a little gun shy, because I feel like Nintendo did really good with Ultimate, and it's like they're spinning a lot of plates, and like I could see them being like, well, you know, let's change this one out for this, and then everything tumbles. Like you said, it's a very intricate system of sort of these mechanics going on all at the same time. As Nintendo said themselves, a lot of levers and pulleys. It's like, it's tough to know if they're gonna get it right in that second year, because what if they screw everything up? What if they put out this new patch and suddenly, who's a character that's always like threatening to become like super dominant?
Piranha Plant.
Okay. Let's say something happens and now Lucina, who everybody's been talking about but hasn't done anything.
Dominant, really? Threatening to be dominant?
Yes, yeah, because Lucina was that character. Well, okay, fine. Well, Sheik isn't threatening anything. Let's say Lucina, who everybody thought was one of the best characters in the game but kind of fell off. Let's say that this patch comes out and everything gets sort of... This kind of happened with Project M 3.02 to 3.6. Everything got milded out. Everything got sort of sterilized. And because of that, in PM 3.02, characters were nuts. And like there was a top tier of like 6 or 7 characters that was insane. Then everybody else was pretty good. Was that what?
Was Sonic the best at that point?
Well, he wasn't the best, but it was like Sonic, Mewtwo, Lucas,
Fox.
Pit, Diddy. Fox wasn't amazing. He was good, but he wasn't amazing. Sure. But it was like, but then they kind of flattened a lot of characters out. When they did that, a lot of people lost their taste for the game. It felt a lot more like the characters didn't feel like superheroes anymore. They all felt a lot less interesting. I could see. Yeah, right. It sounds like that, but I could see Smash Ultimate kind of being similar. And then what happens? The most basic, boring character will rise up because everybody else got flattened out, and that character is Lucina. I could see that happening. But then again, I've been very wrong about balance in the past. My initial tier list for Ultimate was terrible. So I was one of those people that was like, Diddy can't ever be a bad character. His kit's amazing. And I was like, oh. Okay, well, he's not great.
Yeah, so couple of things you threw out that just like immediately got me thinking about things. One, how is Nintendo deciding the balancing, which we have to talk about, which Naira pointed out in an interview that I believe Sakurai or someone from the team made, which looks to be largely based on GSP and all that nonsense. And two, what that sort of watershed patching does for a game like DBFC, and in this case like Smash. I'm glad that it was brought up in the chat, but DBFC had a patch that basically changed how guard work in a variety of ways, that opened up new combo pathways and closed a ton of others. And basically it was a big deal. It's almost like it just basically, if you were to change how shield dropping occurred on top of like also spot dodge, like increasing and lessening vulnerability and invulnerability, like two big things at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm paraphrasing, and also like the parallels to Smash and DBZ, bear with me, but they changed something major. But it wasn't only until season 1 was over, meaning they had I think Cooler and God, I don't even remember the first DLC, but they had Cooler at the very end with a bunch of characters pretty much coming out. And that was within the first season and it was fine. Then second season they hit it with like a here's a new thing. And there were players on Twitter that were, I'm not playing anymore. Like I can't play the same game. Pros were saying wait it out. Certain pros are frustrated. It was that big a deal. So it actually kind of makes me a little anxious thinking about Smash because we've been in a pretty long honeymoon period now. We didn't start off with any toxicity, which is kind of amazing in a game. Mortal Kombat has been getting a couple memes about everybody picking Noob or Scorpion. But for the most part, there's no like win character. And I think fighting games and better have done better in general. Because
I forgot you play Mortal Kombat. We should play that sometime. I've been getting really into it.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a good game.
It's
a good game.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. There's no like Garrus gets a lot of hate, but it feels like the same kind of hate that people have for Olimar, where it's yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I hate all the same thing that Inkling got at the beginning of Smash 4. It's like, or at Ultimate, it's not like he's, I don't know. Yeah.
If we had our pub stompers, and I definitely think that right now in Ultimate, I mean, even looking at like the character like selection screen, like there isn't really like that much polarization. If anything, Wolf's down smash, Pichu's hurtbox, and Inkling's dash, and I mean,
I want Nikita
Olimar's
to be
damage,
gone.
Thanks Nikita and Olimar's damage. Like those are kit based things, which I like, versus character based. Because all those things in isolation can be patched, which is a good thing, versus like everything about them, like, you know, which twist, which time, all the hurt boxes, all the hit boxes, all the animations, like something like Bayo, right? In Smash 4. But this one, it looks pretty agreeable. Nobody's playing Ryu, no one's playing Ken. Ganon is not a problem. Ganon's a pub stomper. Even the entire top row, from Mario down to Ice Climbers, none of them except Peach have top data major, which is pretty crazy. Rosalina's not a problem. So again, what will they do? How will they choose it? But the thing to consider right now is the fact that, as Nairo brought up, there is a looming worry that the way this patch is going to kind of go is the fact that, and by the way, it is going to be character based because replays are going away, and anytime that happens, we know that it's just going to be it. We're going to have that fact that they're balancing based on VIP/Elite Smash, which right now, from a competitor standpoint, sounds horrifying because they were also talking about the win rate's looking good, and once everyone's at like a 50-50 win rate, like their job's kind of done, which I'm sure your experience in League has taught you that's like far from the truth.
It's a in League and Overwatch, I feel like that's good if you're sort of releasing a game as a service, like the long con kind of deal, like this game is going to be out for 8 years. With Smash, I think it's a lot more I don't want to say seasonal, but it's the game's gonna ripen and then it's gonna go sour and it's gonna rot. I think that unless Nintendo wants to make this, like if they want to make the Switch a 10-year console and they want to make this Smash the Smash, that's fine. But if not, we should kind of stick with the guns.
Yeah, because Street Fighter's kind of in the long play. Street Fighter's been in rotation now, I think, for I mean, they just released Arcade Edition, which had everything. It's been in rotation since February 2016, which is now going to be 3.5 years, which is not too long, actually. But they've been like steadying the release of content, and like the DLC, I think, just ended with Sagat. I don't remember.
I think so.
I think there was Cody, Sagat, Faust? No, not Faust.
Colin?
No, Colin is way earlier. The one with the stick. She has a stick. I totally forgot her name.
I know.
Frosty Faustings is named after him. He's a Guilty Gear character, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Or not, because I don't know anything about anime fighters except DBFC. But looking at this right now, balancing based on 50-50 spreads and online matchmaking is toxic. And at least Street Fighter like released like a quote unquote incomplete game because it didn't have like Akuma. Like Akuma was DLC. It was that sort of thing. Much like Mortal Kombat right now, where you don't have Melina and some of the other staples. Smash brought everything, so it can only really get added more. It can only just be like supplemented at this point. Like all the main components are there, minus the subspace. But I don't think like they can really play it any other way than the long haul, because this game was such, not a burden, but it was such a project to put on, only to have for 3 years. So patches like that, I mean, if they go seasonally, it would be great. I mean, Smash 4 only had one pass, right? Did it even have a pass? I don't even think it did.
I'm not sure. I think it just came out in pieces.
Yeah, it was just DLC, right?
Yeah.
There's no patch.
Yeah,
So
I don't think there's a patch.
So predictions, if we look at the last patch notes, featured pretty much just changes that were like damage related, hardly any knockback. As like we said earlier, as soon as you mess with knockback, growth, angle, anything, it changes an entire kit for a character. But yeah, anything you want to see. How about your 3 must change? Non-negotiables, they have to change next patch.
I think Nikita has to be adjusted.
For what reasons?
I think Nikita is in a game where things mostly feel like they make sense in terms of risk reward. I think Nikita is insane, especially at a casual level. I think at the competitive level, it's not so bad, I think a lot of competitors will know how to deal with it. But I think at the casual level, it is insane. Like I just can't see that being a healthy thing in college dorm rooms. I'm just gonna throw that out there. That's just for me. Apart from that, I think there are some damage. There are some damage numbers that maybe need to be adjusted. And it's weird because like I just said that I'd rather see sort of overall system changes. But if I had to put actual nerfs on things, and if I had to have conversations about it, I would talk about like how Olimar off a down throw gets like 2 forward airs, gets 3 up airs. You know what I mean? I think that stuff like that.
Now, is that earned? It's not earned. I mean, that's
depends.
Your bread and butter can't do that, I think.
It depends. Like, if that's... Because that's like a Luigi thing. Like, if Luigi gets a grabber, if he gets in, he does all this damage. Olimar has so much power sort of all around and widespread that him getting that feels a little bit... Like, his whole thing is you have to close the gap, right? But then you close the gap and he does 80 and then you're outside again. It's like, oh, okay. Seems kind of antithetical to your design, but whatever. I would say stuff like that is probably higher in terms of on the chopping block. And then I'm trying to think. So I thought Pichu was going to be a way bigger problem than he's ended up being in the game as of right now.
Void.
Yeah, I had Pichu pegged as the best character in the game because I thought he would get more optimized. We'd be getting more Thunder setups and blah, blah, blah. But no.
Glass cannon. Very well designed glass cannon. I mean, annoying, but glass cannon.
Yeah, so I'm very hesitant to talk about what should or shouldn't change. Like, the game has so many... It's incredible to me that with so many extreme characters, it still feels so... to me, anyway, it feels very...
Mild.
Balanced isn't the right word, but like the fact that Wario can get a set of 4 hits and then kill you at 50, but it doesn't feel unfair, at least to me. Like, I don't know how they did that. It's like a magic trick. I feel totally okay with it when I die to that because I'm like, okay, well, he doesn't get in. I think it's the same thing as like Tweek wins all this stuff with Wario, but he still gets really frustrated playing Wario because it can get really hard to get in. Every Wario player I've ever talked to says that like he is this feast or famine character where you're either totally dominating or you can't do anything. And it's kind of fascinating to me that they've created this game that can make you feel sort of both sides of that, especially like that's the thing that all Wolf players say. It's like, it's impossible to kill with my character who has more kill moves than half of the cast. You know, it's insane. Who kills off an up tilt?
I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling here, but bottom line,
Nikita.
I think Nikita needs to be adjusted. Maybe some damage numbers across the board. I don't think Peach's float got changed, which is sort of the source of all of her, so much of her down tilt into whatever power, because she just has damage numbers like crazy, because it's not considered a short hop if she floats. Maybe adjust that, because that's not in line with other characters.
That's overlooked for sure.
Yeah, that's just something they're not paying attention to, which is weird, because I thought a lot of people sort of brought that up to them. I don't want to buff, like, I don't want to buff Toon Link, because what's going to happen with all these other characters? Like, nothing's going to happen. You need a systemic change to make Toon Link better that might make the worst characters better, but then it might make the villager insane. It's impossible to say. I'm not a game balancer. I am way too dumb for that job. So I'm going to just say, instead of trying to predict anything or tell them what they should do, I'm going to look at the patch notes and say, that's pretty good. Or, no, that's awful. We'll see.
And that's coming from experience of being wrong chronically. So I commend you for that.
Yes, I keep, like, here's the thing. I'm very right about stuff sort of as it happens, if that makes sense. Like, I can be very good at looking at a situation that's happening right now and based on something tangible in front of me, something that I can watch and see and feel and taste and smell. Like, I can see what's going to happen down the line. If it's something that I have to come up with off the top of my head, I am awful. If I have to come up with an ultimate tier list based on movesets that I've watched for 2 minutes in YouTube, I'm going to come up with a Smash 4 tier list with slight variations and call Wario the worst character in the game, which I did. I was so wrong. So I'm not going to make any judgments.
Yeah, that's pull out where you're ahead.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with Nikita. I also am not a competitive player, so it probably spells a lot more than really needs to be said. But I do find Snake a little problematic, but not polarizing.
I just think Nikita's risk reward is
tweak it.
Obscenely skewed, because it is 100% the best thing to do. You know what I mean? Because, like, you will not get punished for it. The worst punishment that you get is you lose stage control because you didn't go to the ledge and do it. Like, some snakes will do up smashes or whatever instead of going for Nikita, but, like, you will never be in trouble for using Nikita ever, which is nuts.
Which should not be if it's a projectile.
Well, for the reward that a projectile that kills you at 70. Like, sure. It's one thing if it's a projectile, but if it's gonna kill you, like, I don't worry if Sheik throws a needle at me or if Villager throws a Lloyd rocket at me, because, like, if I get hit by that, I'll take 15 and be off the stage and maybe I'll die. I'm not going to explode at 70. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, that's a big thing. So adjusting damage numbers there. I'd like ZSS to get tweaked a little bit. I've been playing recently, so that's biased. Sheik still, that's biased. So non-biased, I would also not like any buffs of the realm that people kind of like want to fiend over when, like, a character is, like, now busted. Like, yeah, how do you mess with an ecosystem that has Ridley on one side of the scale and Ice Climbers on the other? Like, anything that could change for either could make them insane or just even less useful. As they're currently sitting kind of, like, with untapped potential. I've seen Trella's Ridley. I've seen some Ridley play. I know that a Ridley might have won a C tier or two. Someone brought that up. I know that K. Rool has. But Ice Climbers, for the most part, I mean, I'm not subscribing to the myth of, like, one day down the road, EVO 2019 Grand Finals, and winner's side, it's an Ice Climbers. But I don't know, I still think they're kind of untapped. So I'm looking for more systemic changes. I would like changes to the edge to be more consistent, or the ledge rather. PS1, PS2, it's got to get solved. I mean, I don't even know which one's better today, because it changes every day apparently.
Yeah.
And most of all, just some, like, UI tweaks, as well as the online, my guy. Like, online by and large is a huge disappointment, and now we're paying for it, which they somehow tricked us into. They hoodwinked us into paying $20 a year, which, I mean, might be pennies for some people, but it's also like, why are we paying for substandard service where, like, right now, if we hopped right now in a separate window and we alt tab MK11, it would be crispy.
Dude, nice. I know. So nice. I've been long struggling with this idea that, like, I don't really have the drive to improve in Smash as much as I used to. I just don't. I've been struggling with this for about 5 years.
I didn't slap you that hard at Pound.
Okay, all right. So it was. So I've been sort of struggling with this realization, and playing Mortal Kombat so much for the past, like, 3 weeks has made me realize if Smash had that online,
bro,
I would be fiending.
Melee does. I mean, Melee has net play.
If Ultimate had that online, I would be fiending. I really feel like I would be going to weeklies consistently, and that I would be doing. Maybe I'm making all this up, but I would play it a lot more because I would feel like I'm legitimately getting something out of it. But as it stands right now, I think to be competitive in Ultimate, you have to be an offline player first. I mean, like, some people, you're always going to have, like, these Wi-Fi warriors that get offline, right? But I think, by and large, you have to be an offline player first, and, like, playing Mortal Kombat so much has made me realize just how much better it could be. Oh, my God.
Dude, I got to gold in Street Fighter, which is, you know, whatever, laugh at me, but gold for Street Fighter was a big deal for me because it was, like, my first FGC title, and that online was nice. I mean, you get people who lag, but when it's actually good, I mean, you get to practice, you get to grind. There's a leaderboard.
Yep.
DBFZ, I never played. I did play online, but I'd mostly play Sage, just like practicing. But yeah, that was amazing. Plus, you're dealing with like a game that's animated, so it's a little different. But yeah, like there are many people I grind with on Smash. ACJ from SoCal is a friend of mine that I met through Samsora, and we used to play Apex, but we play Smash a bunch, and there's always this kind of preface when you're playing and you're on Discord with like, all right, that shouldn't have worked, or all right, I don't really know if that was punishable or not, because there's literally input delay. Like, there just is. On top of your regular input delay, on top of this buffer system. So I did a lot of Smash 4 Wi-Fi grinding. I had my, I hate it, this is the worst thing, then this is the best thing, you gotta learn it, to then, oh, this is just another tool. And how you play on Wi-Fi is not how you're going to play in tournament. If you haven't learned that lesson yet, good luck. But for me, and for what many other people have found Wi-Fi useful to be, at least in Smash, not counting Melee, it's just matchup experience. Just get to know a little bit, you know, play your friend who maybe lives in Texas, has a LAN adapter, plays Rob, see what Rob does. Like, just try it, you know. That's the best you can really do with Wi-Fi, but Anther's Ladder, trying to do all this stuff, cloud chasing with Wi-Fi, what are you doing? Like, it's not, no one, like, FGC does not take online. Actually, what's funny, FGC takes more credibility to their online events than Smashers would ever to their Wi-Fi, which really underscores how good their Wi-Fi is. There are just certain qualifiers, CPT events, and certain events that they do online that are kosher. No one's going to bring it up and be like, I beat Sonic Fox online, which people would anyways. But you know what I mean? Like, they actually, like, that has pull elsewhere. If you win an online event for a Street Fighter, or Injustice, whatever, they count as, like, things, right? Rankings, different story, but they count. Smash, people would laugh you out of the entire venue if you were to say, oh, well, I beat him in Wi-Fi. It's, like, even worse than, oh, I beat him in a friendly. Like, it's crazy. So
it's way worse.
I wish it were changed. I wish a lot, but quite frankly, I mean, with them making so much with not changing anything because of casuals, I mean, we're just one part of this entire system asking for like latency improvements, which right now someone just wants to make sure their Kirby jumps 6 times and can copy Joker. That's all. So I think that'll close it. I think both of us agree systemic over specific. Buff all versus nerf 1. Nikita, an issue. And numbers, by and large, seem to be okay, except for some whack peachness. So turning now to Q&A. I think we're ready, Coney, to close out the show. It's been a good while. But tagging this extraordinary base of 13 viewers, if anyone has a Q&A, now would be the time. Otherwise, I'm now fishing for grabs that I'm not getting because no one's answering.
Well, we're not on the main channel tonight, which is, you know, probably why.
Yeah, someone mentioned. So today is just on my channel, PG Key, like I said. I wish I could make up a question. Or did someone message me one recently? We did tip top players. Characters you think are going to be most likely in for the DLC. I think we talked about that.
Most likely,
we talked
about it. Yeah, we did.
Placements. You think Duck Hunt is bad? We did strongest region. All right, chat. This is your time to shine. Actually, ACJ, ask a question. Perfect. ACJ with the question says, A lot of my local community has been talking about C-Stick and Buffer and their issues with it. Any ideas for changes? Perfect. A technical question. C-Stick Buffer and Coney, you invented it. What do you think?
Oh gosh, I was gonna say technical questions. I'm not. I mean, I know a lot of people hate the buffer system. I have only really fallen victim to it a couple times, so I just always saw it as something I would sort of bang out as I played more. But I leave that to better players than me. You know.
So let me spin this question because I know that ACJ at least he's a modder. He mods his controller. He makes the analog digital and the digital analog and the whatever. Personally, Coney, is your controller modded? Answer for me, no.
No.
Thoughts on that? Fairness on that? Who should mod? When should you mod? What should you mod? Is that a thing? That's a thing.
We're trying to wrap this up soon. That's a whole different conversation, dude. That's like if we've been doing the show for an hour, that's its own thing, man.
That's the thing that'll probably come up one day, because I swear to you, like, not to be that person, but like in terms of cheating, like, who knows? Who really knows? Like,
yeah.
In pools rather, because I don't think anyone at the top level would even risk it. But dude, who's got that turbo button on? You know?
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna be hard for us to sort of. I don't know, cause like
dude, the regulation, like it's
how do you
so
regulate
much,
it?
dude. Digital triggers, I don't know. I keep my
I went to Genesis and I saw a booth there that blew my mind. There are all these things. There are like Popo angles or Sopo angles. I was like, what the hell is a Sopo angle? I had to look up all this stuff. Like notches. Like
notches are real. Notches, you cannot be competitively relevant without notches, apparently.
All this stuff is very strange. I don't know, but it's going to be harder and harder to sort of get your hands on as much as
Smash 4
as the prizes go
bro.
up.
Smash 4 is just left right. That's all you need. Left right.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, sorry ACJ. C-Stick narring or just C-Stick-ing in general. We don't really have much advice. But Scruffle says, based on Meister's performance, this is a character question with Game & Watch. What could be said with the potential of the character? I've always seen as a hard counter character, but I think that there is more to him since he has good aerials and confirms, but I'm not completely sure. Thoughts? I mean, you know, based on what Gimmer's probably said to you or mentioned in passing, I mean, is Game & Watch the new-ish or not?
Game & Watch is obnoxious.
Okay, cool.
He doesn't fully rely on matchup inexperience, but he gets a lot more out of it than most characters because he's not playing the same game as you are. Frame 3 up B out of shield is nuts, and if you're playing with somebody that abuses it, you're going to get frustrated. Yeah, you're going to get frustrated because it's invincible. Very difficult to edge guard him if you can do it at all. He's got the same weird stuff as he did in Smash 4, where he's got this triangle of options of pretty disjointed dash attack, a grab game that can do a lot of damage, and down smash, except now the down smash buries and can kill you early if he gets the tip on it. Game & Watch gets so much mileage out of inexperience. I think that the bucket stuff is a little bit over talked about, because I think that's very matchup specific, because like you can beat Game & Watch's Wolf, you don't have to laser, or if you laser once every 30 seconds but you do it unpredictably, you're fine and it's a free 10 damage. I don't think that's as big a deal.
Yeah, Waft you get clock strikes Waft. It's Waft time.
Right, I don't think bucket is that bad, but then you have a situation like Snake where it fundamentally changes, like, oh, I can't use my B moves at all. So I think that's different. I think Game & Watch is very frustrating to play against if you haven't seen him before, and if you haven't... He's one of those characters that, like, you have to have experience to do well against them, but there are, like, 3 anywhere. It's like a Mega Man. It's like, they're good.
Mega Man's slightly more popular.
Yeah, and, I mean, Mega Man's also a better character, but he's like a Mega Man Jr. in that he's like very frustrating, Jr. Plays his own thing. Well, he's not like a Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. has his own huge problems. He's not as good.
Well, I just meant in the sense of obscurity plus annoyingness. Like, if you don't know what a Bowser Jr. does, day one, you're blasted. You're just blasted.
Sort of. I don't think it's as bad because like I played the best Bowser Jr. at Genesis, and like game 1 he destroyed me. Game 2 I was up by a lot, and then I got hit by, I don't want to say a gimmick because that sounds dismissive, but it was like something I didn't know could happen. I was like, oh, but I was winning, and like I'm not a good player. So I was like, okay, well, this character is just flawed fundamentally.
Got it.
I don't think Game & Watch has that. I think Game & Watch has enough.
Okay.
He doesn't have a big enough sort of blind spot in his kit. Like, the big thing is supposed to be his weight, because he's really light, right? Except that's not really a big deal in this game. Like, he's able to put out a big enough box around him that it's hard to hit him with any sort of Hail Mary moves. So you kill him at 120 like you kill anybody else.
Okay. Yeah,
that's just my thoughts.
I think he is a hard counter character, but I don't see Leo using him. My thoughts.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think he's a DK, Smash 4 DK rather. But I think he's obscure. I don't think Meister inspired anyone to pick up Game & Watch. I'll be real. I think that mostly has to do with the fact that Game & Watch is a kind of unhinged, sort of like wacky character. I think the way Abadango inspired a lot of people to play Mewtwo comes from the fact that it's Mewtwo, and also pretty easy to pick up. You pick him up, you do the Shadow Ball, you got the Nair, you're doing the thing.
Yeah.
Game & Watch, I do not know what I would do, actually, if I selected him. I don't think I've ever even played him. Actually, I don't think I've ever selected him and, like, ran around. So I don't think Maestro will be inspiring many people. Good player, amazing player, but I think he'll be the only Game & Watch on the PGR, assuming and presumably that he makes it. Pac-Man somehow more popular than Game & Watch right now.
I think I think there are certain characters where players are going to sort of, the sun is now shining and they're going to reap the harvest of a new game. And I think Peach was one of them. And it's like, oh, Samsora was already really good. Now you got really lucky. Your character got the juice. Yeah. Wolf players like Seagull. Seagull is like, oh, my character's back and he's amazing. Snake players, oh, he's back and he's great. Yeah, I think Game & Watch kind of got that too, where it's like, okay, he's back and he's pretty good. So.
And people haven't figured it out yet. So yeah, I'll chalk it up to that. Thank you for the question. Quick last question, because this one interests me. Coming to us from BK Hey, I want to say HEI. So yesterday, it was revealed that Twitch might be rolling out paid viewership. Did you catch wind of that, Coney? Because it seemed to be more about like, it's more than sub only. It's like you have to pay to just watch.
I didn't see that. I thought it was sub only, but maybe it's one of those things that like you can pay or you can sub. I don't know.
So hopefully I can find an article in the little time I have to Google News. But from what I understood, it was you now can have people pay to watch an event, and the event's going to be behind that. Things that have done that popularly. Boxing matches, anything on pay-per-view. It's like it's subscriber only. And I actually pulled it up right here. Twitch is testing. Okay, this is why actually. There you go. Ad blocker doing its job. But again, pour one out for .esports.
I can tell you in League, they used to have this thing where you could watch it, but it was at 360p.
Bro,
and like you could pay to get 1080.
And so you look.
Yeah.
Okay. So that, I mean, I'm sure streams will have to test all sorts of stuff, because even sub only chat for FGC events gets the event eaten alive. Smash events, same thing. Pretty much any entity that's ever sub only chatted, aside from like Ninja, gets eaten alive. So basically, as the article shows, you're gonna have a situation where Twitch is just rolling out subscriber only. The question coming to us though, pretty much centers on the fact that how do you think it'll affect viewership, or how do you think it'll affect events, given the already low existing viewership? Now, for context, Smash is a funny thing. Viewership is not that bad right now, actually. I don't think Momocon, anybody know how much it peaked? I know that Gommel got like 40, maybe upwards of 50. So Genesis gets like gets over 100K, close to 200,000. Evo's the big one, almost 250,000 with like everything combined, I think, with ESPN, everybody. Your basic A tier, It's gonna get maybe like 2030. Okay, Frostbite, like 1 in a million, Sue versus Zero, that got like 50. But when you consider Rainbow Six, you consider all the other esport titles, pretty low viewership. But for right now, low viewership is like getting like 10,000, 15,000 for a tournament. This changed by Twitch. If a tournament were to try it, I think with just deck numbers, by and large, the community being grassroots mostly, consistently when the cost of the tournament is put on the attendee, beyond any sponsors that the tournament isn't able to like organize, it's seen and felt horribly every single time.
I personally think that this is going to be a very simple, I think it's very simple. Okay. I think if you are a content creator, if you're a VGBC, if you're an MVG, a Smash Studios, you don't turn this on.
Yeah, no way.
If you're an Evo or a NetherRealm, where you are the establishment that's hosting it, you can turn it on. I think it's as simple as that. I think what it comes down to is it's going to be, and there's some weird like sort of in betweens like Summit. Like,
ooh, that's
Summit
dicey.
streams, if Summit streams Shine, maybe they'll leave it off. But if Summit streams Summit, that joins on and it's sub only. Well, no, I guess not as much because that's more of a marketing event.
But Summit, you want a view, man. Like Summit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying it out loud.
I don't think Glitch could do it. I mean, I don't think Glitch could do sub only view. Like,
no, but Evo could. DreamHack could.
Sure. Sure.
I think the big ones. I think the huge ones could do it.
I agree. I think Evo could. I just think it'd bite. But the problem is that sub only would try to address a problem that's reoccurring, which is lack of funds, in an infrastructure-less community, and by that I just mean no dev support. Trying to solve that problem with another one because like people also don't have that much money, right? For being real, and so to put it behind a paywall, now you're not going to get. I mean, you're not going to get the sponsorship sort of figures that you're trying to hope to get, right? Oh, we got 30,000 viewing. Well, now it's like 10,000. I mean, who knows? Yeah. I personally wouldn't pay for most events. If that makes me a horrible person, then retweet it. But I would pay for my shines, for my smash and splashes, for, let's see, what do we got here? I kind of like wouldn't pay it for like an Evo almost because, I don't know, it just seems weird. Like they already have that sort of money. They already have that sort of clout.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it more, I could see... I think it. I don't know. I think this could go in a bunch of different ways because now that I'm sort of thinking about it more, I previously said if you're VG, you want the view more than you want that money. But if you're VG, you're also doing 2 events a month. Why not? You're the place to go. Why not? Ask for $250 an event. $250 an event. You're not going to give me $5 a month. $2.50 per event. You're not going to send that my way. Get the hell out of here. I could see that sort of taking over. So I think there are too many variables and too many ways this could go. I don't want to make a prediction. Like it's tough.
Yeah, I think it won't be taken well, but also it has to be gradual. Like one event has to test it. And then maybe test it during pools, and then another event has to test it, maybe test it during doubles top 8. But if you show up next week, Smash and Splash, by the way, top 8's viewer only, paid, then that would be the end of your event. And I think solo is a little weird. I mean, when I pay $250 to watch you, I mean, I don't know. Like, you have to be doing some crazy stuff. But yeah, I think that'll wrap it up. We got a really great, pretty sudden 3 questions. So appreciate you all, and sorry, AC.
Thanks, guys.
Go much into the technical aspects, but yeah, you heard it here. Smashcenter 19 this weekend. You can catch Coney at Smash and Splash 5. Coney, any final words before we sign off?
Nope. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Happy to be back. If you're going to Smash and Splash, say hi to me. I'll probably be at the pool or in the hot tub. They have an adults only area. I spent a lot of time out there. I'm hoping it'll be hot so I can get a tan. If you find sunglasses online that look like Bret Hart sunglasses, only they're rainbow, please at me, because I'm looking for these things everywhere and I can't find anything close enough. So,
I bet if you ask your audience, you'll get a link within the next minute.
Maybe I'll put that on Twitter, because like I find things that are close. But all right, I'll do my anyway. Thank you guys for watching.
Instagram shopping for you. You need the people everywhere. So that'll be it for Coney. Find him at Smash and Splash 5 this weekend. Thank you, Coney. We'll see you next week. We'll cover that event and anything else that happens over the weekend. But for now, yeah, we got pretty much the weekend ahead of us. We got a lot to look forward to. You know, it's gonna be pretty crazy considering it's an S tier. This PGR not anywhere close to ending. We still got a month. We still got a month of grades to put in. Gradebook is not closed, so people are definitely gonna pop off because that's what people love to do in the end of the season. Shoutouts to Foe and everybody else who's made our lives hard. But yeah, Smashcenter 19, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate everybody viewing. Honestly, for the 20th episode, we should do a giveaway. Honestly, something. We should give away something in this room for somebody who has been watching each and every week or just joined. We'll figure something out. We'll make it special. 20th episode coming at you live next week, Monday or Tuesday, depending on what this PG key thing makes us do. But yeah, it's been real. It's been awesome. Suar, happy to be of service. Happy to bring you everything we do every week. Any suggestions, tag me. I've been told a bunch about how my cadence goes as little to like how the technical problems really jar people. So just let me know. It happens. This is a labor of love for the community, for everybody. Most of all for you. So see you next time. Appreciate everything. Love you all. Tell somebody you love them. And we'll see you next time when Smash and Splash has concluded. See ya.